to an to ask how they can help, to ask to check in. That is what my team received from them in terms of why he was calling me. Once I connect with him, this is my plan. First of all, we're advocating for the state of Texas because on his desk are the disaster declarations for the state that Governor Abbott has signed, has requested in terms of both the flooding a couple weeks ago and the wind damage just yesterday. And so what we need him to do is to work with FEMA to expedite those disaster declarations so that we can all get the aid that we need to allow Harris County to be combined with the other counties, what the governor requested. We appreciate that, so that we can all receive not just small business assistance, but also individual assistance that can go to folks directly and where they do not have to pay back the loans. The other request I'm going to make is on public assistance. So we do obviously have expended a lot of resources on this, and so we're asking him to consider authorizing under FEMA reimbursements for our public entities. It's Category A and Category B under FEMA. I want to say a big thank you to Harris County Precinct 3, Commissioner Ramsey, Harris County Precinct 4, Commissioner Briones, and their teams. They were working all night, and the work is so clear. We knew from yesterday, when I spoke to them yesterday, to Commissioner Ramsey anyway, he was telling me there was just so much debris, the worst he'd seen in decades, and by the time we flew over today, we had a hard time finding it in terms of the smaller roads. So all of those folks that have been working the road and bridge crews, and of course the leadership, thank you. And to the community, please know that they've really done a great job with this. It does continue to be dangerous to move around on the smaller streets. There are down trees, there are wires, there is debris, so just watch out. But for the most part, it's been picked up. As we said earlier, if you're experiencing a medical emergency, call 911, call 311 for debris pickup, 211 for any other resources, and if you smell gas, get out and then report the gas leak to Centerpoint. After this, I'm heading to Cy-Fair, to the fire department out there, and we're going to visit some of the damaged areas, as well as with Mr. Appleton. And of course, that's where I went to high school and where I ride my bike, and I have a lot of friends who are affected there. So it was tough to watch, but it really wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. So let me repeat briefly in Spanish, and then we'll take any questions, and Mr. Appleton is also here for any questions. So, acabamos de terminar un vuelo de helicóptero para entender cuál ha sido el daño, la extensión total del daño en nuestra comunidad por estos vientos. Fue una vista de arriba abajo en las zonas donde esperábamos hubiera el impacto mayor. Lo que vimos durante ese sobrevuelo es que el impacto no fue tan extenso como habíamos esperado, como habíamos predicho. No fue tan catastrófico. Y, por ejemplo, la concentración más importante fue en el área de Cypress, varios vecindarios alrededor del área de Cypress, al sur de la 290, entre la 99 y Beltway 8, norte de la 10. Y aún así se vio algunas casas con árboles encima, algunos árboles caídos, unas casas en construcción. Vimos en un par de vecindarios que el viento había destruido totalmente la estructura de madera con la que se empieza a construir la casa. Entonces, obvio, pues algo muy trágico para los vecindarios, para las familias, pero la verdad que tanto él como yo estábamos sorprendidos y alegres que no había daño más extensivo de lo que vimos. Entonces, buenas noticias por ahí. 650,000 personas están todavía sin luz, la mayoría en el condado Harris. Hablé nuevamente hace 5 minutos con Centerpoint y me dieron también unas buenas noticias. Me explicaron que esas líneas de transmisión que se han caído tal vez puedan ser evitadas completamente, o sea, que han descubierto que pueden redirigir el poder, la electricidad alrededor de esas líneas de transmisión. Entonces yo pregunté, bueno, estas comunidades conectadas a la línea de transmisión, entonces ya no van a perder no se les va a ir la luz por 2 semanas, y lo que él me dijo es que es solamente una pieza del rompecabezas. Entonces todavía falta ver si esos hogares pueden recibir la electricidad de todo el proceso, pero hay esperanza, es el punto, hay esperanza de que a nadie le toque esperar semanas. Vamos a tener más clara la situación mañana por la tarde. Algo que sucedió mientras estábamos volando, porque realmente vimos con mucho detalle todo el área, es que el presidente Biden me dio una llamada, y me dio eso tanta alegría porque él llamó expresamente, le dijeron a mi equipo, para ver cómo estábamos aquí en el condado Harris y para ver cómo podían ellos ayudarnos. Entonces, cuando aterrizamos, él está en una reunión importante, sigue la reunión, entonces vamos a conectar más tarde, hablaremos, pero lo que tengo planeado pedirle es, primero voy a abogar por todo el estado de Texas, porque muchos condados se vieron afectados con las lluvias, además del nuestro, y ahora, bueno, con estos vientos. Entonces, la idea es que el presidente nos ayude a acelerar la declaración federal de desastre que el gobernador ha pedido. El gobernador fue muy acertado al incluir el condado Harris en ambas declaraciones, pero el presidente tiene que aprobar eso para que nos llegue la asistencia directa y también los préstamos de bajos intereses. Lo otro que le voy a pedir es que nos incluya, como he explicado antes, que nos incluya también en la declaración de desastres la de la inundación, aunque nuestro daño no fue tan extenso como en los condados del norte, para que así las personas afectadas por inundaciones aquí en el condado Harris puedan también recibir ayuda directa financiera. Como expliqué antes, esa ayuda depende. Hay familias que recibirán $7,000, hay familias que recibirían $40,000. Depende, pero pues no le va a solucionar todo el problema, pero sí ayudaría mucho. Entonces eso es lo que le voy a pedir. Y también le pediremos autorización de reembolso a todas estas organizaciones, entidades que bien sean bomberos, bien sean policías, en manejo de emergencia, que hemos invertido tantos fondos en estas dos desastres. Un par de puntos más. Le quiero agradecer al comisionado Tom Ramsey y a la comisionada Leslie Briones, precinto 3 y precinto 4. Una de las cosas que vimos con el señor Appleton desde el helicóptero es que no hay tantos escombros en las calles pequeñas. Bueno, realmente no hay tantos escombros. Ese no era el caso anoche. Ese no era el caso anoche para nada. Entonces, de verdad que se nota el trabajo tanto de ellos como de su equipo, bueno, todo el liderazgo de los precintos. De verdad que estoy muy orgullosa y quiero que la comunidad sepa tanto que ellos han trabajado, de verdad que toda la noche. Pero igual tengan cuidado, puede haber todavía cables, escombros, árboles en algunas calles, entonces hay que tener cuidado. Si tiene una emergencia, llame al 911, al 311 para pedir que recojan escombros y al 211 si es que necesita cualquier otro recurso. Si huele gas, salga de donde está y llame a Centerpoint. Ahorita vamos juntos con mi equipo y con el señor Appleton a Cy-Fair, el área más afectada, donde hice parte de mi high school, tengo muchos amigos allá, entonces pues obvio me entristece, pero vamos a estar con el departamento de bomberos por allá y hablar un poco con los residentes. Entonces nuevamente gracias a todos los socorristas. We'll take any questions.
Judge, you talked about the center point. Is there a timeline, a specific timeline that you were given on when, the rerouting might all take care of those customers out of power?
So he said probably by tomorrow we will know whether the rerouting will take care of the customers out of power. That's really the challenge. And if it will, then it will take days, not weeks to restore, which is just wonderful. But he explained, the rerouting is just one piece. I was like, okay, so this is great news. He was like, hold your horses. So, but it is promising. It's definitely promising. It's very different from what they were sharing with me yesterday and this morning, which was, we're in trouble. This is bad. This is bad. So, very heartening.
Do you have any idea about if the death has been confirmed to be weather-related or not, or any other injuries, fatalities, something like that?
We don't have clarity on that. Either way, we're waiting for Institute of Forensic Sciences to analyze really the causes of death so that we can make sure that we're accurate with our information. But we have heard about those reports, and we'll certainly let people know as soon as we have more details.
And then could you expand a little bit upon how the FEMA stuff works?
I'll take the time to scratch my nose.
Take some time to explain how the FEMA process works, because I saw like FEMA put out a release that said like we're ready, we're here, we can help right now. So is that something that has to go through President Biden? Have you asked for that? I guess how does that work?
Yeah, so in terms of the more significant help, which is public assistance for our various first responder entities, direct financial assistance, in other words, grants, funds that you don't have to pay back for our residents, and low interest loans from the Small Business Administration. All of those can only take place via approval by FEMA and certainly can be expedited by the president. And the president needs to grant a federal disaster declaration that applies to Texas in order for that to be extended toward us. That has not happened yet. And so it may be that those reports are about some other kind of smaller help that FEMA is providing. I'll check with my team to see if we can get back to you. But certainly those major ones have not been approved yet. Sometimes it takes a while. That's what happened with a previous disaster. But what we want now is for that to be quick, because remember, there are folks who had 6 feet of water in their house 3 weeks ago, and they still haven't received the help. But the silver lining with this is that now, in the sense that there's more damage, and now the governor has included us in 2 state disaster declarations as being Harris County, as well as the other impacted counties, we really have a case to make that we deserve all of those 3 pieces of aid, kinds of aid, and surely, you know, if the president is asking how he can help, I have an answer for him.
We have time for about one more question before she has her next call.
Is there a balancing act between keeping both of those 2 distinctly different emergency events? The cost of that, is there a blanket of the last 3 weeks of how much this has cost Harris County, how much this has cost homeowners, and how much of that can be recouped by combining the 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's all still part of the assessment, and maybe I'll let you add some more on in terms of the public costs, etc.
The Austin Appleton with the Harris County Office of the County Engineer. The good news about all this is that with the flooding from about 2 weeks ago and the event that just happened, or the incident that just happened, we have not seen the level of damage that we expected to see, and because of that, we have not had to expel the amount of county funds that we were originally thought that we might have to spend. But if FEMA comes forward with authorizing category A and B, then we're hopeful that a lot of those funds will be reimbursed that we have thus far expended, and will do so in the future.
But we are not done itemizing
No,
the
no.
quantities.
It's going to take quite a while for us to go through that. Debris operations for this incident just began this morning, and it will ramp up as time goes by. And then at the same time, house counts for this incident began this morning to a limited extent, and the Office of the County Engineer will have additional teams doing house counts this weekend. So we'll have a better idea of what the total level of damage is across the county.
Thank you.
Judge Hidalgo,
Yeah.
I sensed a little tension earlier in the press conference with you and the mayor. Is everything okay, and are you guys working together to, solve the problems of the area and the city?
Man, I don't think I even want to give that any air right now, because There are still trees on homes. I'm still going to go visit with families. So I think better not talk about that right now.
I think there's some real concern among some constituents, though, about whether the city and the county, can work together, and are the applicable resources getting,
Right.
out there.
Yeah, I mean, we could always work better in general, but certainly with a better relationship, and it's what I've been continuing to try to pursue. But I don't want to make this a he said, she said situation, but I just want to make sure it's clear that I have worked very well for years with leaders from either party as an executive, and that's the kind of relationship that I'm seeking so that the constituents can, as you say, get the best support. Do we do better when we work together, respect each other, get along? Of course. So, but I just don't think that's a topic for right now.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Judge.